Welcome everybody to Get Real with Morton, January edition. So back we are in 2025 and I'm joined here today by our sales manager, industry expert, just wonderful person, Lucy White.
Thank you, Ewan.
So we're here to talk today about how does a vendor price their property. It is relatively contentious.
Can be an
emotional thing, and you're going to help us with that. So obviously when we talked before, the first thing that we felt a vendor needed to do was to understand the market.
Yep.
What's your comment to that?
Definitely very important. And by understanding the market, that means going out and looking at other properties that yours will compete against. The reason why that's good is to know where it sits, but also when you're talking to real estate agents, you'll have a much better idea on the pricing in terms of ones that are inferior to yours and ones that are superior. And then that's how you determine the value of your property.
So once we've been out and we've looked at the market and seen what it's about, what do we do then?
Start speaking to real estate agents. And when you're doing that, the real estate agents should be able to do a comparative market analysis, which means comparing your property against similar properties that have sold. And that's the best way to determine the pricing for your property.
Obviously, one of the big things that we need to look at when pricing a property is the unique selling features.
That can work in your favour, and sometimes it can pull away buyers. But it's good to understand what those unique selling features are. It impacts pricing and impacts buyer pool. So for example, I sold this house and it's in Castle Crag and it's heritage listed. Now for some people that's very appealing and that pulled them towards the property and also impacted on what they're prepared to pay. For others it was a limiting feature.
And I suppose be open to the fact that each individual buyer is going to look at that unique selling feature and come to their own conclusion to value.
Correct.
So that leads us on to the next point, which is about pricing strategy.
Yep. And why it's important to have competitive pricing.
Yeah, now let's just highlight this bit for the viewers.
Yeah.
Because the pricing competitively makes people a bit anxious. Because
it makes sellers anxious.
Yes, because they feel like they're going to end up selling cheap, but we know that that's actually not true. Can you explain that?
By competitive pricing, what that means is coming on with a price that is opening yourself or the property up to as many buyers as possible, because each buyer, when they're looking at the properties and what to go and see, is deciding whether they see value or not.
Even when you've set the pricing strategy, you are going into a campaign. Is it set in stone or is there flexibility?
Definitely flexibility, and that's the thing with the competitive price when you start off. The best buyers generally come in the first 2 weeks. So if you find yourself in a situation where you are being bowled over with offers and there's way more buyers than you thought there were going to be, you can increase the guide. Yeah. And that's in a far better position to be in than finding yourself on the market too high and you're looking at potentially having to decrease. One
thing I always say to people at auctions is the property only sells because you as the vendor sign a contract to sell it. So a vendor is in control of the process. Thank you everybody for watching. This is Get Real with Morton and we'll see you next month.